I'd like to begin this sermon by acknowledging that we are on the traditional land of the Powhatan people. I make this acknowledgement for several reasons. The first is that tomorrow, Monday, is Indigenous Peoples Day. It's a day that we honor the contributions of Native Americans have made to the world. There's an event next door. Gwen will say an opening prayer, and our bells will play a part in the service. Another reason that I begin with this acknowledgement is because I think it's important for us to have this knowledge, to know that this place, this land, before it was ours, was once occupied, farmed, kept, stewarded, held holy by other holy people. And the primary reason I stop to acknowledge is because, based on our readings today, Jesus prefers it. That's what that 10th person did. The 10th one who was healed. Scripture says that then one of them, when he saw that he was healed, turned back. He acknowledges. He notices. But only one of the 10, right? There were 10 people who received this great gift. So just a little background. In those days, what would have been known as leprosy constituted any type of disease that left the skin irritated or discolored. I, in fact, have psoriasis that flares up when I get stressed out. Chances are that I would have been cast outside of the community. Lepers, as they were called, were required to live outside the village. They were required to announce that they were unclean. Can you imagine going around and saying, unclean, unclean, unclean? That's what they had to do. So it would not have been unusual for them. In fact, they were required to keep their distance and call out. And today they call out to Jesus. Have mercy on me, they say to Jesus, to free them from their disease. And because Jesus is Jesus, Jesus does just that. He tells them to follow the laws of the land. You see, in that day, if you were cleansed or healed from this particular ailment, you were called to go and show yourselves to the priests. I guess back in that day, priests really had some sway. So they all go and they show themselves to the priest. The other 9, notice, they aren't really doing anything wrong. They're doing what Jesus told them to do. But there's that one. There's that one who attends to a tiny detail. He notices, he acknowledges, and he returns. Here at St. Paul's, we're entering into what most of us know as stewardship season. Our annual community giving campaign begins today, and it has to do with blessings. And you're going to hear a little bit more about it. For those of you who are new to the church or new to St. Paul's, our community giving campaign is the season in which we are all invited to make a financial commitment to the church so that all of the gears of this wonderful and complicated church can continue to turn. We make a pledge, an indication of giving. The goal is 10%. Some of us can get there. Some of us are working toward that goal of 10%. And we do that so that St. Paul's can be a living breathing sign of God's loving and continued presence to our community and to the people who depend on us. But this time is about more than money. Rather, this time is about doing what that 10th healed person does today. He notices and he returns and he gives thanks. This is really what stewardship is all about. It's about noticing. It's about noticing what we have. It's about noticing what we are able to do. It's about noticing the gifts that have been given to us. Do you ever notice all of the things that you are able to do? Or do you just race through life? Now, you all know that I'm a practitioner of mindfulness meditation. And my favorite definition of meditation is being aware of what is happening within you and around you. Being aware of what's happening within you and around you. You see, meditation allows us to turn the autopilot off. You know what I mean by that, right? Those things that we just do, it's second nature, we don't notice. We turn that off so that we can be more observant and more present. When we stop to breathe, when we stop to notice where our feet are, we can slow down. And we become more intentional. And we notice the small little things like those chipmunks that run around with their tails sticking straight up in the air. We notice the glint of the sun in October. We notice that beautiful moon that's been popping up for the past several nights. We notice when someone gives us a smile, or we notice when someone might need just a little bit more grace and patience. When we notice, we can't help but be thankful. And we can't help but return. Return to our center, return to who we are, and return to our great Creator. The season of giving, of stewardship, is about doing exactly what that 10th healed person did today. He humbles himself and falls to the ground and gives thanks. How often do we, like those other 9 people, just race through life, race, not even knowing that we've been touched by the hand of Jesus, the awakened one? You know, at the end of the story today, Jesus says to the one who returns, he says, "Your faith has made you well," but another translation, perhaps a better translation, would be that Jesus tells him that your faith has made you whole. W-H-O-L-E. Your faith has made you whole. Can you imagine how good that must have felt to that man who had to walk around all day and shout, "Unclean, unclean, unclean"? The one who lived outside of community, now finding a home. He is restored to life. How could he possibly not have returned and given thanks? These days, though, it's easier, isn't it, just to race on through life. It's easier not to notice. It's easier not to acknowledge. It's easier to join the other 9. It's easier to race past the work that we need to do to restore all people to wholeness. And it's easier to race past all of those who feel incomplete, unwhole, and unholy. And that's why the church is here. And that's why I give to the church 10%, all of it, to this place. Because I believe in what the church is about, And I believe in what this church is doing. And I believe that that money is going to do far more than I can ask or imagine. I give mostly because I know that there needs to be a space on this earth, in this town, where we can slow down and return and welcome all of those people who don't feel like they belong anywhere else. So today, our model of stewardship is based on that one who returns. He didn't have to do it. He didn't have to do it. He could have raced headlong into his new life. Come on, the other 9 might have said. Come with us. He's Jesus. He's fine. But something stirs within this person. Maybe he notices the smile on his face. Maybe he notices how people have stopped staring at him. Maybe he notices the tear that's forming in the corner of his eye. Whatever the case may be, he stops, he notices, and he returns. Isn't it great to have a place to return to? These pews, these prayers, these people, this altar. It's all about returning. So today, we stop the race, and we pause, and we join with this person, this 10th healed person. We return to this time and to this place and to this season. And we return to our great Creator, who is always making all things new. May you be blessed, St. Paul's, and may you be a blessing to others.